continue. So Majaga actually has a mission, and the mission is to preserve the Gambian folklore into a new age format. Basically, the Lebon Lupins that we enjoyed when we were growing up, we want to bring it back. And besides that, we also want to be a platform for young writers, talented writers in the Gambia, who can actually publish with us.
Okay, you are Dr. Hanjai. So now how do you merge the research sciences with publishing?
Uh, it's crazy. I'm not sleeping a lot, and my husband is not happy with me. But it's I am on overdrive. I am happy to do it, and I think just the excitement and the passion actually just keeps me going. We have a lot of people coming up to me and say, I loved your books, or we have somebody coming up to me and say, I have a manuscript. So these are all things that keeps me going. Whenever you feel tired, somebody just comes up and says, you're doing a good job, keep it up. I am working at MRC. We're working on hepatitis and to prevent liver cancer. It is a very demanding job, but I managed to handle both of it.
Okay.
Yes.
And now let me talk to Aisha. You're a credit officer, you're a radio presenter, you're a writer. What is the connection with you and Majaga? Are you also working on writing a book?
Yeah,
You can put the mic up a bit.
I currently wrote about 14 novels.
Wow.
I was a writer.
14?
Yeah.
How come we don't know about you? Oh, yeah.
Well, see,
Did you launch any?
no,
Oh.
this is about my first, so it's like a dream come true. Meeting Yaha was like that, because I had the most disappointing argument with my dad about something, and I had to meet her, work something out with her at Reliance where I work, and I had to help her out, but I was not in a mood until I was told she's a publisher, and she introduced herself. She was like, so you write, who's doing this? The way we met was really, it was nice, I had to say, because meeting her brought about a smile on my face since that day. And
Are you working on launching any of your books now?
this book is actually trilogy.
Oh, this is yours?
Yeah.
The Last Custodians?
Yep.
What is this about? I should have read this book, but the producer didn't give it to me. So don't blame me for not knowing. Blame him.
Okay.
So what is it about?
It's basically about it's an African fairy tale about 8 teenagers who have special talents. They're ordinary teenagers, but they also have powers, like extraordinary powers that are different, and they're also different people with different tribes, but there's one thing that binds them together, the fact that they have this common enemy that they have to fight together.
And these local names, Aisha Sise, that's
Yes.
yeah. And Yahar, I mentioned in the beginning that you've already launched Kumba and Samba and Sansabe Matageja. What are the books? Are just these the first two?
Yes, these are the first two. We have in our archives about 6 other stories. Kumabu Amne, Kumabu Amunde. We have also Daur and the Antelope. We have other stories. So people are coming up to us. We have Sona Mariama.
Wow.
People are coming up to us and say, here's my story. So what we're doing now is to select the story that actually is most fitting and is quite different from what we've done before. So for our next book, we want to go into the Bouquet and Yombor series.
Wow, Bouquet and Yombor.
Exactly, which is also ready. So we would bring it out in a different format this time, like in a comic book, because it's a lot of short stories with a lot of funny things that Bouquet does, that he's always, acting the fool. So instead of printing or publishing one book, so we're going to put it together into 4 stories, but in a different format. So this, we want to look at it in September. But right now, it's all about Aisha Jawara. When I saw this manuscript about a year ago, I was amazed that she wrote a 300-page novel.
Yeah.
And when I offered my services without even knowing how much work I had to do with it, I was like, that's it, I'll do this for you. Then we got together, we looked at the package. We looked at even the title of the book we changed.
Oh, this one?
Yes, we edited everything. I mean, all we did step by step with Aisha, because we'll come up and say, Aisha, what do you think of this one? I think this one would work better than that one. And in the process, we changed the title, changed the cover page, edited it professionally by 3 different people. We had it reformatted, so now it's being printed by DBC in Brusubi.
302 pages.
Yes. And
That's a lot of work.
I read the whole book within 3 days, and this was because I was in Basse. I had nothing to do. And when I was reading it, I was very nostalgic because I went back to high school several times because it's about St. Joseph's High School, talks about Bakau, and every time I read something familiar, I'm like, oh, I did this before, oh, I've gone through this. And it has a very unique, innocent style, and it's funny, and it's just unique that she has managed to merge the African flavor and the modern day that we are in with cell phones and texting. Everything is in the book. It's just like an everyday teenager story, but with supernatural powers. So I recommend this for
So
anybody.
what's the upcoming event that you're having?
So on the 14th at Calabash, we'll do the official launching. We are doing this with Mrs. Elizabeth Sose Khan. Um, she would be responsible to organize the event. What we'll do is we'll introduce other authors, or we'll invite other authors like Mamadou Sabali to come and say a few words. We have a review of the book by Siga Jan from the USA, Frankfurt. We're also going to read that. We'll have an acoustic guitar. So it's going to be like a reception, but it's a 2-hour event. And we
And
have,
the book will also be available to
yes,
sale.
and then we'll have Indian dancers. Yes.
Why Indian?
Well, say because we have this fan club. We came here once, performed before you because we had this current show that was coming up.
Oh, so you know how to do Indian dance?
Yeah,
She's an Indian DJ.
I'm an Indian DJ.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only I knew that, I would have brought some Indian music for you to show us, some moves. So yeah, so there'll be Indian music. And how much would you sell it for?
So we're selling the book at $500, sis. The book is really high quality. We're going to also have it on ebook, so it will be up on iTunes. We have just been given our iTunes account for Majaga, so all our other books are also going to be available. So we've submitted it.
And it will be available at the local bookstores?
Yes, we would just go through our usual distributors, which are Timbuktu, Quality Zone. Also at the airport, there are 2 duty-free shops. And we are also supplying schools like Sibek and also Apple Tree, and they have this in their bookstore.
Okay, publishing, I know, is a hard job. You talked about it, you know, how much time you have to spend and how your husband is not very happy with it sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when he don't have your attention. So what does it take to publish a good book?
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. It takes a good reviewer. It also takes a good critique to look at it and tell you, okay, this is what is not nice, this is what is nice. That's the hard part, especially if the author has written something and it's so dear to their heart, and you come back and say, oh no, I don't like this part. So that's the most difficult job, because you really need to package it so that it's universal and everybody likes it. For the author, when they're writing it for themselves. They're not thinking about everybody else. So for us, we're kind of like the window dresser. So we come in, dress the book up, and say, this is it. And then the author has to agree to
And
it.
if you don't have patience, if you say take this off, I'll be like,
Oh, I've threatened Aisha several times.
Yeah.
I'm like, Aisha, that's it. Don't call me again. Aisha, leave me alone. Aisha, divorce me. And we've gone through ups and downs. But one thing I have to say is that she's very persistent and she knows what she wants. Despite all my howls and growls, she will always come back and say, but Yahar, when is the book coming? And I was under pressure. And I think for me to have this book successfully launched is actually a big achievement, because I promised her. So no matter what, we have to get this out.
okay, now if Majaga could publish the biography of any African, who would this be?
Wow. I've thought about writing a biography of my father.
Yeah.
I've thought about it because I thought he's a phenomenal man, and he has done a lot with very little. And I think his story needs to be told. Every time I walk somewhere, I'll meet somebody who says, I know your dad, he's done this for me. I know your dad, Elijah Firianjai at Customs. And for me, now that I've grown up, I'm taking up so much responsibility. I'm amazed about how he has done all this with so little that, that was
he had
available
at that
before.
time, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Halim Jai and Aisha. What would you like to say, final word before you go? People come out on the 14th and support her.
Yeah,
She
sure.
just wrote a 302-page book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to call on everyone to come because this is like a day, the greatest day of my life, and I can't celebrate it alone. I know family will be there, friends will be, but I would like everyone else to come and join me.
Okay, so do you